Welcome. I got a Fox follow-up on that incident where a 9-year-old girl accidentally shot a instructor at a shooting range up in northwestern Arizona. He was teaching her how to shoot an automatic weapon, an Uzi.
And then accidentally shot and ultimately killed him.
She lost control of the weapon.
Yeah, this is some of the video right before the event actually happened. It happened, like you said, up there in the northern portion of Arizona, Dolan Springs, Arizona, at the Bullets and Burgers. And the shooting range is closed indefinitely following that tragic accident.
The family on vacation from New Jersey when they stopped at the shooting range north of Kingman. The father shot the Uzi first, and his young daughter took the weapon while her mother was recording it on their, I assume, their cell phone. Well, the sheriff in Mojave County calls it a tragic accident and says there will be no charges.
The operator of the shooting range says the 39-year-old Charles Vaca was well trained. He was an Army veteran as well.
Really don't know what happened. I mean, our guys are trained to basically hover over people when they're shooting. And, you know, if they're shooting right-handed, we have our right hand behind them ready to push the weapon out of the way.
Well, the story has gained national attention. It's raising questions about kids and guns.
Yeah, Celeste is live, taking a closer look at kids and firearm safety. Good morning, Celeste.
Good morning, you guys. Yeah, talking about children and gun safety. I'm going to bring Roger Jett in here. He's a firearms instructor. Roger, let's walk over and take a look at some of these weapons and guns that you pulled out and talk about, is 9 too young to hold a firearm, and what kind of safety courses are involved for children?
Well, no, 9 is not too young for anybody to hold a firearm. The main thing is you need to match a firearm to the child's ability. For example, a lot of people, like I grew up with firearms. I was probably shooting a 22 rifle well before I was 6 years old, and that was kind of, and I knew what I was doing. A lot of times, something like this is something like a good starter rifle for somebody that's in the first, second grade range. A lot of things about this. This is a single shot 22 rifle. A lot of times what you do is you put ammo in there, you put it in there and you close, and it shoots one shot at a time. And then what you do is you'll pull the trigger and it'll go bang. But once it goes shooting, it doesn't have any additional ability of shooting a second one and a third one like that young lady had with the incident in northern Arizona.
Right. In northern Arizona, you were saying that the way she was actually holding the weapon, her bottom hand actually was very loose. It wasn't holding the weapon at all.
Well, yeah, what she had, to make an analogy out of this, it's more like riding a bicycle. When you ride a bicycle, you'll start off on maybe a tricycle or maybe a bicycle or something like that. Then maybe you'll move up to maybe a mini bike or a motorcycle or something like that. What they did with her is they took basically a young individual and put them on a racing motorcycle. Now, granted, there was an instructor there. The instructor was looking over and trying to make sure things are safe, but something went wrong. It's the same thing as if a parent had taken their kid on a motorcycle ride out in the desert, and then you let the kid steer a little bit, and the kid makes a mistake and steers into a Grand Canyon or something like that.
You said you have you don't have that exact weapon here, but something similar.
Yeah, we have. This is. The Uzi is similar in design and size to this. This is what's called a Mac 11, M11. It shoots essentially the same cyclic speed and things like that as an Uzi does. It has a similar wireframe, and also is very similar. It fires from what's called an open bolt.
Okay.
And when we were looking at what the instructor was doing, we noticed that he had a magazine in the gun, and that. And then when the young lady was firing, we noticed that she was firing like this from a right-handed position, and the instructor had his hand right here. And then the young lady had her hand essentially right here. And as she pulled the trigger, the gun started cycling. It started cycling really fast, and of course you get a recoil. And because of the speed of this type of firearm, it recoils up and back. And what happened is her hand came off the gun. His hand was down here supporting the gun from going down. he didn't have a grip on it like this to keep it from coming back, and it basically came over his shoulder like this and shot him in the head.
Now tell us about, you said 9 is not too young to be operating a firearm. Tell me about the classes. Do you guys offer them here, or some ideas for folks if this is interesting to them?
We can set up any classes we want. We have instructors here that are all NRA certified. The NRA offers classes such as what they call Eddie Eagle, which is made for very young children. It's more of a keeping kids away from firearms. And then we also there are beginning firearms classes, introduction to firearms, home firearm safety, and also the State Game and Fish offers an introductory course for hunting.
Oh, that's good. That's a good resource. What goes on in maybe that first class when you sit those kids down and you talk to them about gun safety?
Well, the number one thing is you go over the basic rules with gun safety. Number one thing is that you always assume that a firearm is loaded. Always, always, always. You never point a firearm at anything that you don't want to destroy. And you go over that in every single class that you ever teach, is always that a firearm is always, always loaded. You kind of want to pretend maybe that instead of thinking that maybe that bullets come out the end of it or something like that, you want to pretend maybe that it's a laser gun. And whatever you point it at, you've just destroyed. Yeah. So you never want to point it at anything that you never want to destroy. And if you can kind of keep that thought in your mind, that should prevent most accidents.
Okay. All right, great. Roger, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Yeah, great insight, guys, and kind of gives you a good idea of what to expect maybe in that very first gun safety class for kids. Something also quick to note about what took place in northern Arizona, they have now changed some of their policies with instructors not to hover over them. I do recall in some of the news reports that took place in the last 24 hours or so, the new policy now is for them to back up and for those instructors to step away from the person actually operating the weapon.
Okay.
Okay.